Hello, everybody. I am Sandra Lee, and this is this week's guest expert interview. And today I have my friend Karen Carlson with me. She's a massage therapist, and she's also a relaxation expert. And I love that. So I'm going to have her talk about that some. I have known Karen for, the better part of a year, and I met her in a coaching program that I was in for a while that I just really enjoyed getting to know Karen. She does all kinds of really interesting things that are a little different from the standard massage therapy things. So, Karen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
We're going to talk about some relaxation stuff, some stress stuff, and then some mind frame things about that whole picture. So, Karen.
Yes. What would you like me to just talk a little bit about our topic or my business, or what do you want me to dive into?
Topic. Let's talk about the topic first and about business later.
So both of us had blogs that had a similar theme. And really it's about how our mind really affects our physiology. It really is all connected. And sometimes we forget that. So Sandra Lee's topic was My Mind, My Choice. Was that the name of it?
My Mind, My Choice.
Okay, yes. And mine was Funk Be Gone. Not quite so elegant. But, have you ever gotten in a funk? And, you sometimes struggle to get out of that, to find your way out of that. Sometimes it's going in a downward spiral. And so I love the synchronicity of both of our blogs and how we really talked about how that really comes together in trying to be better. We're all trying to be better. We're all trying to do our best every day. And so what are the things that we can tap into that can help us?
By the way, if anybody has questions for Karen, you can put them in the chat associated with the live video on Facebook. And I'm going to check over and see if anybody has any. So tell me a little bit about this whole mindset, head story conversation thing and your perspective on it, and relaxation and stress.
I would say that as I have experienced life more and more, counting the years going by, it becomes critically important how we not just speak to others, but how we speak to ourselves. How we speak to ourselves, I think, is more important, because I think that reflects in how we interact with others and how we have exchanges with others and how we either support people or perceive the relationships in our life. So having trying to have as positive of a mindset as possible. As I said, trying to tap into resources or tools or strategies, whatever that might be, to help you when stress might be kind of ramping up, when things are kind of cranking up, and either it's a relationship with somebody or whether it's technology that's giving you fits and starts and those kind of things that can really trigger us, is having things that we know will work for us. So at that time, it isn't about experimenting with somebody or something. It isn't about, trying to find something that will work at that time. It's having something sort of in your tool belt, in your dashboard, that you can pull out, that is going to help to ramp down that stress. Whether it's listening to a guided meditation, whether it's a message that you can, access that just changes, as I like to say, changes the trajectory of your thoughts. So from going in that downward spiral to something that's more positive. And there you go. And it's all about energy. We are all created, we're all energetic beings. And so sound healing, I love going to gong baths. And, just letting that sound go right through you and bring some resonance to your body, mind, and spirit.
It's funny that you mentioned about technology. One of the big stresses I had last week was dealing with Google. And
Uh-oh.
it messed my life up. And I was like freaking out and stressed out and going crazy. And it's like, okay, I need to get myself out of this place. So before we went live, I was talking with Karen about how, I've been picking these guest expert themes and having them go for a week and really noticing how it plays out in my life at the same time. So yeah, stress was like, and the whole mind story was just
You are
like,
very aligned, obviously, with the people you're interviewing.
I guess so. But choosing, right? In other words, I can choose to be here doing this, or that's not making me happy, and it's certainly not going to help my health. So bring myself off the cliff.
Yep.
And back to center.
Absolutely. And it can be, something that's simple. I like to, the different resources and things I've created in my wellness business, they're about having simplicity and having accessibility. So everybody isn't going to come and get on my massage table. And that, for a lot of different reasons. And so having those other resources that are accessible when they need them most and the ones that work for them is really what I strive for in the resources that I've created, is the accessibility and the ease of use.
So give us a couple of examples for people.
A couple of examples. I mean, I've recorded some guided meditations. So the guided meditations are typically about 15 minutes long or so. You can download them to any device. And I like to say, people, you can listen to them once or 100 times. Doesn't matter. It doesn't expire. But it's just simply a way of having a visualization, listening to a visualization that can just take you out of a stressful situation or something that's frustrating you. And the fact that it's portable and you can, sit in your car or whatever it might be makes it easy to tap into. One of the other ones I do is I use a weighted eye pillow with my massage clients. And so I started making them available and people started ordering them. And it's just a weighted pillow, either with lavender or unscented, that people love taking power naps with them. So they say it could be high noon, it could be midnight. I don't know the difference because I have this pillow that kind of blocks out all the visual distractions and lets you sort of tune in and go within instead of, all this stuff that's coming at us all the time. To be able to block that out for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, how it just is, incredibly beneficial. I had one gentleman who, it's a funny story. His wife had bought one because she has trouble with migraines, and she got one with lavender, and it really helped with her migraine. She said it was better than her meds. It was her go-to thing. And so her husband was out of town. He was traveling, and she couldn't find it and couldn't find it and couldn't find it. And she finally called him, and she says, "I can't find my eye pillow. Have you seen it? Do you know where it is?" He goes, well, it could be in my briefcase. And it was like a leopard print or something, She goes, "You took my eye pillow." Well, it helps me when I travel and I'm sleeping in these strange rooms. And I said, "Well, I can take care of that for you." And so it was just one of those really funny stories. But that same gentleman had kind of a ugly commute in the Chicagoland area. It was just an ugly commute. And so he got one and he would take it with him and he would go in his office when he had a really ugly commute and he would close the blinds, close the door, take like 10 minutes. He would just lean back in his chair, put the eye pillow over his eyes, and it helped him to sort of reset and start the day again and sort of wipe out some of that stress that he, experienced when he was driving and stuff. So, they're great. I love the testimonials that I've gotten from people. And I also have some that I make for children with a children's storybook, teaching children how to learn how to be comfortable in a calm body and a quiet mind, because our children, many times, are not really learning that. And so the simpler that you can make it, the better it is for them, because it's something they will, sort of gravitate to, because they know the feeling that they enjoy once they know what that's like, when they're, when they may be ramping up for a tantrum, or they may be having a meltdown or something. Like, just take 5 minutes. It changes the energy just that quick.
With the things that have been going on with children with the pandemic,
Right.
I think it's more important than ever to give children a way to pull out of that stress and fear. This is like, I am so concerned about the children who their whole life will have this foundation of fear that was built into them during this period of time.
Right. I have some grandchildren who are, it really concerns me. And so just trying to give them simple, safe, strategies, because kids on their own aren't able to kind of figure that out. So I have one that I call a mommy or daddy and me bundle. So mommy gets one and the children get one. And so it's a way for modeling them. Children always love doing what mommies and daddies do. So modeling for them, it's okay to be calm and quiet. You don't have to be running around like the Tasmanian devil every minute of every day. And it's those, simple lessons that really are lifelong lessons. Will serve them for a lifetime.
Yep. I also really like about both of the examples that you gave about the meditation audio and about the eye pillows, that there becomes an association between this object or this audio and the feeling that I then go into associated with it. Right. And like, the man who couldn't travel without his wife's eye pillow because that physical object meant a whole set of experiences that were desirable. And so it's like, if I'm stressed, I was like, oh, time to get my eye pillow. The little child, like you said, about to throw a test, like, oh, time for me to go do this, take care of myself. And what a lifestyle skill that is to develop for anyone at any age. But certainly from childhood up, those children are going to have the resiliency that comes with being able to manage stress effectively for their whole lives.
Right. The book that goes with them is called Grandma's Magic Pillows. And I introduced it to my 3 grandsons that live locally. And they were 2, 4, and 6 years old. Busy little boys. And so the first time I took it over there, of course, they thought they were beanbag toss things. And I said, well, they just help Grandma if I get stressed. Do you want to try it? So we laid down on the floor. I set a timer on my phone for like 1 minute. And they're peeking under the corners to see what their brothers are doing. And they're giggling and they're twitchy and whatever. And after a few times, the 6-year-old said to me, Grandma, can I be quiet longer? And I did a double and a triple take because I was like, what did you just say? And I realized, I think kids are craving quiet, but they don't have the strategies how to get there. And so I said, of course you can. Of course, his brothers did not want to be quiet longer. I said, okay, here's what I'm going to do, AJ. We'll set the timer for 2 minutes. When the timer goes off, you just stay laying there. And I'm going to add 3 more minutes and you just stay there. His brothers got up. They started running around playing. He laid there perfectly still until that other 3-minute timer went off. And it was just amazing to me. And so I wrote the story and I call it Grandma's Magic Pillows, because I said, when you can get a 2, 4, and 6-year-old to lay quiet, that's magic.
Absolutely. And again, what is it helping them have as they go forward in their life?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The skills that makes available for anything. So it's like there's like the immediacy, like want a result now culture that is like so crazy in our world.
The magic bullet, we always want a magic bullet. It's, got to work instantly.
And so for them to learn from this point to be able to step back and be calm, that skill is going to help them in so many ways forever.
Yeah. And I was so excited because the oldest one, a couple of years later, he was able to, during his reading class in school, he was able to read that story to his classmates, that was about him and his brothers and stuff. And it was just really neat. And last year during the pandemic, the youngest one, who was in 1st grade last year, I was able to virtually via Zoom read that story to his class. And so it's just really neat to be able to do that and be able to share that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what other relaxation, mindset, stress relief tips do you have for us?
Well, the other thing that I've created is several years ago, I created a deck of inspiration cards. So I had a deck of cards that I had purchased. And what I did with my massage clients is when they got on the table and I came back in the room and I would splay out the deck and have them choose a card and then sit at the head of the table and read it as a way of setting the intention for their healing time. And people just love them. And so one day, I don't know, the universe spoke to me and I decided, well, I'm just going to make my own deck of cards. So I had a theme in mind. And so I sat down one night and wrote 50 messages and then had great fun designing them and creating them and getting them printed and creating. And so I use that deck of cards now with my clients, and they just are so synchronistic. People are so like, oh my gosh, that's the perfect card for me today. It is just amazing. So like you were saying with, the synchronicity of the people you're interviewing and what's going on in your own life and your own body and your own circumstances, it's just fascinating. And then earlier this year, I actually created a journal to go along with it that gives you some prompts. So it asks, what card did I choose? What was my initial reaction? What surprising thought did I have? How can I use this to serve myself or others? So just some things. And then on the back of each page is just a free space for people to doodle or draw or sketch or whatever it might be, whatever that brings up for them. And then I have 2 other decks that I just finished and just got my proof copies. And so I'll just show you. So here's one. It's called Relaxation Made Simple. So they have very, very short, simple messages on the back. And so this one, it says, enjoy a yoga pose and relax into it. It might be go stand barefoot in the grass for 5 minutes and discharge some negative energy and be nourished by Mother Earth. The other deck is called The Challenge of You and I. And this deck kind of came out of a personal kind of struggling relationship circumstance. And the subtitle of it is Reframing Your Thoughts and Protecting Self-Worth. So it's kind of geared towards people that are narcissistic and it's all about them. And so it's kind of a UI dialogue. So here's an example. So this one says, you were driving me crazy and I remained sane. So they're very simple messages like that, as I say, just to reframe what might be happening. And whatever that might be, just to sort of shift out of sometimes that victim mode that we might get into when we're feeling maybe a little attacked, when we're feeling a little, at risk. So I'm excited to kind of roll those out and stuff. And then the other thing that I just started is something called the Be Well Circle. And that is a messaging offering that I have. So, I love making people happy and providing positivity and encouragement and inspiration and finding different ways to do that.
So tell us a little bit more about the Be Well Circle and how people can connect with you.
On my website, bewellandrenew.com, there is in the menu bar, the Be Well Circle. And it will really give you a little bit more information. But it is a membership offering that provides multiple messages per month via different messaging channels. So it might be email, it might be a text, it might actually be snail mail. And just short messages of encouragement and hopefulness, really geared towards people that could use a little lift, whoever that might be. It might be that you actually have the option with this to gift it to someone. So maybe you have an elderly relative or a distant relative. You don't get to see that often. Maybe you don't talk to as often as you like. It's a way to know that they're going to get multiple messages a month of something that is positive. And there's an ongoing membership option. There's also a 3-month or a 6-month option for that one. And so it's a great way. Like I had some people gifting it to their college freshmen. So the first time that they're kind of away from home for a long time, to know that they're going to get these messages and hopefully something positive that will lift them up when they may be having a rough day. It could be somebody that struggles with depression or struggles with kind of downheartedness or loneliness. So there's a lot of options in that that really can just help to lift people up.
Lovely. Anything else that you want to share with people? What wisdom do you have?
Stress, we hold stress in our bodies in very different ways. And so as a relaxation expert, when I'm out kind of talking or doing presentations or something, I tell people it manifests differently for each one of us. So for Sandra Lee, it might be headaches. For me, it might be neck pain. It could be a lot of different things that manifest differently. But just finding that simplicity. I like to kid my clients when they're coming in, the women mostly, because most people complain about shoulder tightness and neck pain and stuff like that. And so they come in and their shoulders are up here and they don't even realize that posturally that is how they are holding their body. They're holding that tension and it becomes normal. It becomes so unconscious that they're really unaware of it. And so I will kindly say to them, there are much more attractive things to wear as earrings beside your shoulders. And it's sort of a comical way to bring their awareness to their body and how they think and how they're interacting really manifests in their body. So it's just sort of a funny way to do things. And I love to give people different kinds of stretches and different types of things that they can use to help themselves. It's all about being well. That's my business is all about being well. So and you're all about thriving, and thriving and being well are kind of one and the same.
Yes. Something that I have people pay attention to when they notice themselves being in the funk, right? So it's like being in that mind space, is to bring themselves to now. Because if I'm stressing, I'm either stressing about something that is coming or something that's already happened. I'm not being now. And if I can bring myself to the moment, I can't be stressing about the past or the future.
Right.
And what I have people do is pay attention to a physical sensation. So it's like, what does this feel like? Or breathe and feel, physically feel, the air coming in and the coolness, or, just like feel the tension. And then can I release the tension? So it's like to bring them to something that can only be experienced in the moment.
Right.
That alone is relieving of stress.
Yep.
But it takes being aware.
Well, it does. It takes being intentional. It doesn't happen by accident. And that really is the key. You're talking about being in the present moment, the now. And it really is so important. A lot of times I'll just tell people to put their hands on their abdomen, because so many people breathe so shallow and kind of quick or whatever. So actually taking a deep breath into their abdomen and having their abdomen expand as they fill their lungs or whatever, it brings a whole different awareness to the now, this breath, this moment, this experience.
Yeah. I'm in a reasonable number of networking meetings, and usually what I will do is I will strike the tuning fork, and I have people say that they always look forward to when I'm going to be doing my 30-second or whatever, because they know that I'm going to do that, and like they just release the stress and allow themselves to take that moment to just be now and
Just,
let go
just
of.
hear that and kind of absorb that sound energy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like,
Powerful.
just going to do it
Very.
now.
Hmm. Doesn't it make you just want to sigh? It does. It just makes you want to sigh and just take that breath and just appreciate this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people who have known me for a long time know that I'm always saying breathe. I sign everything with breathe. And if you've been reading my Facebook posts, you know that I say all the time to breathe. And it's as much a reminder to me as
Mhm.
to anybody else. But there are also people who know me who think of me as the breathe lady. And they think of me, see me, and they take a breath. And it's
Right.
like,
It brings it to their awareness, to their right
yeah.
consciousness.
And I think that's a really wonderful thing to be thought of as,
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
a
My,
reminder to breathe.
my tagline when I'm out networking and stuff like that, my tagline is always, my wish for you is always to be well. And, I've repeated it so many people usually will say it with me, and stuff like that. But it to me, it's such a coverall. But it also is so inclusive because wellness looks different to each person. And what one person might really enjoy, like I love to go for floats. If you've never floated or whatever, well, some people aren't really going to enjoy that. Some people like meditating. Some people prefer doing a walking meditation because they prefer to move, but they can still enjoy that sense of present moment and just one step in front of the other, just being present to that, finding a labyrinth that you might be able to go and walk because there's only one path in and one path out. You can't get lost. Yes.
It's I've been more than usual stressed lately, taking on doing something bigger, expanding business
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. And so it's a stress that I have chosen. And one of my posts this week was talking about the difference between good stress and bad stress. And it's important to recognize that there are differences and that I still need relief from both of them sometimes.
Yes.
To take that pressure off.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that one of my big stresses is perfectionism.
I can relate to that.
That's me big time. And so it's like, it's a relief of stress when I recognize, oh, I'm doing this. You know what? It's going to be okay. If it's not perfect, there is no such thing as perfect. Sometimes getting it done is better.
I heard an analogy once that I like to share with people about perfection. And I was listening to a speaker and he said, perfection is not a human term. Perfection is a mathematical term. And so when we try to apply or, to achieve perfection, it really is not a possibility because we really can't achieve perfection. It's a mathematical term. It's not a human term. And so for me, that gave me some real freedom around that. You can strive for excellence. You can strive, to be your very best in whatever it is that you're doing. But perfection is something kind of unattainable as human beings, I think.
I'm going to write that in the chat here. Perfection is not a human term. It's a mathematical term. Is that
Yep.
what you said?
Yes. Yes.
There. That's there for posterity.
There you go. Excellent. Excellent.
Well, so Karen, this has been lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being my guest expert this week. And tomorrow I have the Thursday Tips for Thriving session. And I don't even remember what it is I'm talking about. I'm talking about something associated with mindset in some way or other.
Okay.
And so for tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, for half an hour, I'm going to be on talking about this stuff. And you can come on live and ask me anything that you want.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
join me
I love jumping in when I can. I love when I get the notifications and I can just, go over and catch it, whether I catch all of it or whether I just catch, part of it, whether it's your interviews with the experts or whatever. I really enjoy everything that you've been sharing and, kind of adding to the positivity and enrichment of us as human beings.
We need it so much.
Right.
And so much out there right now is negative and stressful. And so to have some consistent source, because I don't post anything that's really negative,
Mm-hmm.
zero,
Right.
Because there's too much of that.
You can find that without even trying.
Yes. So we need something that's going to help us all be happier, healthier, less stressed. So,
and that was one of the things with the Be Well Circle is sometimes when people are depressed or really struggling, they don't have the energy within them or the drive to go find something positive. So the fact that these messages come directly to them, they don't have to go searching for them. It comes to them to uplift them.
what a gift. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
It's been lovely getting to know you better.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And thank you to those who are listening. And my wish is always for you to be well.
Yay. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Bye.
Bye.